Danny was telling me you have a pretty prolific UFC career, right? What about like let's talk about like your biggest fight? Would you say
Demetrius Johnson?
I remember being at UCLA in college in the Deneve dining hall watching you fight Demetrius for the first time, and I remember you having hooks in on his back while he was in a turtle position. And I remember you wailing on him from behind and throwing your hands up. I could tell it was involuntary. You were so taken by the moment to be raining down punches on this guy that you just lost control and started going nuts in the ring.
Well,
and I remember I loved that. Am I remembering that correctly?
Yes. Uncle Dana pulled me aside and he's like, "This is it. This is your time. Say, don't be a flash in the pan. Like, make people fucking remember you."
Mm-hmm.
And he's like, "Go out there and put on a show. Make me proud." And I went out there and I did. I mean, I got screwed on the judges thing, but I tried to. Plus, I knew there was.
Most people thought you won that fight.
I either thought I won the fight there, or there was a fourth round where I would have hurt him at that point.
Please refresh my memory. You lost by split decision. What happened? I remember there was something wonky with the scorecards.
A counting error because they can't count in Australia. It's my Al Bundy moment, But we had a rematch. And
counting error. When you say a counting error, what does that mean literally?
They counted the score wrong.
So you won the fight?
No. It was supposed to be a draw. And then we were supposed to go to a fourth round, and I had him dead to rights at that point.
Yes. So
I would have finished him for sure.
It looked like you were about to finish him. It looked like he was going to stagger back to his stool and maybe not answer the bell if there was another round.
Yeah, I wanted to hurt him. That was the thing. I just talked to another podcast about it. I got off on hurting people, like physically, like got off on it. I wanted to kill someone out there.
Were you hard?
Probably semi. And it was this drug that I got from hurting people, putting opponents in the hospital, trying to make a name for myself because I wanted to be Mike Tyson. I wanted to be feared by people, and I knew, cool, he's tired. I'm gonna fucking kill him the next round. I'm gonna literally try and like put him in the hospital, and didn't get my chance. So they screwed up the score, and then they came back and told us, hey, you're gonna have a rematch, and then I started using OxyContin again because I used that point as a tipping in the wrong direction. I'm like, oh, I got screwed, blah, blah, blah. Snorted some OxyContin with my ex-wife in my hotel room.
How long? That night? Mm-hmm. That night you snorted OxyContin?
Yeah.
And did you have a problem with OxyContin previous to that fight?
Oh, yeah. That's why I was sober, because I just got out of rehab for the second time.
How long had you been out of rehab before the Demetrius Johnson fight, the first one? Because it seems like,
18 months?
Because in order to do that to Demetrius, you must have built up some momentum. For people who don't know, Demetrius Johnson is considered one of the greatest of all time in mixed martial arts. Certainly at that weight division, right?
Yeah.
I've been out of watching MMA for a little bit, but I mean, he was untouchable.
He's one of the greatest ever.
One of the greatest ever.
And he used that as a point to get better. We're the same sort of athlete. We're super athletes. We're physically better than everyone else in that regard.
I dispute that.
Maybe not as a person, you know what I mean? But some of us just get a better roll of the dice when it comes to all that sort of shit.
You're way stronger than anybody at your weight class.
Yeah, I always was.
Yeah, you're physically a beast.
Yeah, and that with intensity, it was just a thing that I was able to bring to the table. That, but that also let me slack a bunch. People are like, oh, you must have worked hard. I'm like, yeah, I worked harder than you've ever worked. But I could have worked harder. I could have worked smarter. I could have kept training during my off season because I thought I was so famous and rich. I was out traveling the world and doing drugs and having orgies and doing dumb shit, where I should have been at home banging on my craft constantly and getting better and better and better.
You kids out there, you listen to that.
Yeah, fun. Have your fun, but I mean, if it's a job, like look at guys like Chito Vera now, and those, or even my fighter Mark Irwin, Mark the Shark in bare knuckle. These guys work out all day long. It's all they do: eat, sleep, train. Eat, sleep, train. It's really, really, really cool to see the focus and the clarity they have, and it just makes life easier. You don't need to be partying that much.
I want to come back to you, Ian. What does it feel like after losing that fight to Demetrius when you snort that first line of OxyContin? 18 months since you last did it.
How did it feel? It felt fucking horrible.
Why?
Well, I'm sure it felt it felt good for probably a few minutes, and then from that, it was just back into my addiction.
How quickly did the addiction pick up where it stopped?
Quickly, because I had access to doctors giving me tons of pills and shit. So
sucks because oxys, man, it's basically pill form heroin, right?
100%. Yeah. And I went all the way into fentanyl and doing heroin and never injecting anything, but snorting it, smoking it, and it was it was a long road. It was
Wow.
the one time I became sober, I became best in the world. So it shows you something. I've been doing martial arts my whole life. I've been obsessed my whole life with martial arts. And I'm not the only one out there. Like, there's a bunch of dudes like me that could have been the best ever, sort of thing.
So you snort Oxycontin after losing to Demetrius. Did you get a rematch immediately? Was that your next fight?
Yeah, 3 months later.
You get the fight 3 months later. Were you doing Oxycontin over those 3 months?
Yes.
Damn.
Enough that it was affecting your training?
Oh, yeah. I came in, I cut 18.8 pounds in the last 20 hours.
Oh my God.
Which it's probably healthy to cut, what, 10 pounds in that time?
Not even.
Not even healthy. 5 pounds.
Yeah.
5.
But people cut 10
God
all the time.
damn.
And I cut the weight. I couldn't hear. I couldn't see. I could barely walk. Got on the scale. And then went to go rehydrate. And I did like 3 bags, which is way too much. I ate too much food. Didn't eat the right food. And
So you weigh in the night before. And then to get back those 18 pounds of water weight you just cut, you were just chugging water intravenously, and you were eating whatever they fucking served up for you in some cafe in Vegas.
No, we were in Miami. Or we were in Fort Lauderdale.
Even worse.
Yeah. Yeah, 3 IVs. And my joints hurt the next day. We weighed in at like 3 o'clock or whatever it was, around there. And at midnight, I was 152 pounds.
Oh my God.
And back then, you fought at 35?
25.
25. Yeah, that was the start of that division, huh? It was like you, Demetrius, and Joseph Benavidez were all contending for the title.
Yeah. And then one Japanese guy. And it was, it was crazy. It was, I fucked up. And that you could see I have an 8-pack, but I'm slow.
Mm-hmm.
I don't move right. It's just, and he took advantage of it. He did what, he went on to be the best ever. And I look at it this way. With my propensity to be and act that way at that certain time in my life, I'd be dead. Like, would I haven't been able to string together 12 wins or whatever it was, 11 wins, I think around there? Probably not. I mean, I would have made Connor money because I'm a businessman and I'm marketable. And at the time, I had the push from Dana and Chuck and all these people. This is when you write your book. This is when you do this. This is when you do that. But, man, I don't know. I have to look at it in a positive light. I was laughing. I woke up the other morning in Chuck's house in Calabasas after his daughter's birthday party, and kids are all sleeping upstairs.
And the two whores you guys both banged.
No. We're both good dads now.
Good dads.
And I woke up in his daughter's bed. She's off at college, and
That's okay. That sounded creepy.
No, his daughter's off at college. And I woke up and I'm fucking looking at the scene. I'm in his $5 million house in Calabasas, and I was just like, "Fuck." I could have had this. God damn it, big guy. I just
still
had to
young.
He had to laugh it off. Yeah. No, I meant
You're a
at
young
that
man.
point.
Yeah,
like,
I see what you're saying.
I just woke up in the morning and was like, this motherfucker, And you got to learn to like laugh it off, not let it hold you back, because my life's great.
Hell yeah.
And I want to go through the rest of your UFC career because I saw you fight Joseph Benavidez, a buddy of mine in Vegas, I think in 2012 or 13.
Yeah.
And it was a very, very close fight. And Joseph's fucking badass, too.
Yeah.
You know that very well.
Oh, yeah.
You narrowly lost the split decision. It looked like you were training very hard for that fight.
I was still using drugs, but I could contend with the best guys in the world while using drugs. Again, I'm a freak, one of those people that just took it for granted. I also had a really bad relationship, and
What was going on with that?
I was dating some woman, and I flew her out. Like we broke up like shortly before that, and then I thought it was a good idea to fly her out like the day
Fight
before
week.
the day or two before the fight.
Oh.
Yeah, and it was not good.
So how long ago had you broken up with her before the fight?
Oh, we're like a month, a few weeks maybe.
So there were a couple of weeks of unresolved tension that you decided to work out on fight night, basically,
Yes,
or the
yes,
night before fight
yes.
night, fight eve.
Fight Eve, yeah.
And we know how that goes. It probably fucked with your sleep,
Yeah.
your mental state, your positivity.
Yes. And we both knew we were cheating on each other and doing all kinds of dumb shit, and it was just not a good situation.
How explosive did it get? Did you guys sleep in the same bed that night?
I sent her home after I said I was backstage, and I was like, I don't want to. When I get your shit, and you need to go home.
Backstage during the weigh-ins, or was this right before you fought?
After I fought.
Okay.
I lost, and I was just like, I don't want to see you when I get out of here. Like, you better fly home. And she left. And then I went and fucked some strippers.
Nice.
Perfect.
But pretty sure they were strippers. Yeah. I don't think they were.
They might have been hookers.
They all
Who could say?
kind of. They're sex workers.
same.
A lot of those girls,
Same.
especially with the celebrity guy, they're gonna come and hang out with you.
How many fights did you have after Benavidez?
I don't know.
in the UFC?
Oh. See, I was riddled with injuries. That was the shitty part. My career was so fucked up, and the stress and the drugs. I mean, I was in and out of the hospital a bunch, and I never had my career never got on track because it was always something or another thing. It was really gnarly.
Dominic Cruz, reminiscent.
Dominic Cruz, yeah.
Yeah, that's another guy who
7 surgeries on this arm alone while I was in the UFC.
Damn.
Tore my hip and my groin real bad. Ended up in the hospital in Brazil, in Ireland, in New York, all under the UFC dime.